Okay, so I mentioned in the previous video that we were going to cover some of the new ways to get into the egg cutter. And then in the next video we'll be covering a bit more on, I'll probably give you another 3 or 5 follow-ups after you get your egg cutter and the head turn throw. So what we're going to deal with first is how we get there. So in our previous video, I just went in off the outside vertical, dropped my elbow in and checked this, which is a pretty standard thing that we do for our Puta Kapatlas. But what we're dealing with here is you parry the jab, parry and outside vertical that cross. Hopefully you blast that elbow, drop that in on their bicep and connect with the side of the head or the back of the head here. And then you drop your egg cutter in, or you raise your egg cutter in right there. So that was the first one we did. That was just a quick review for you. The next one we're going to do is one that I think can apply a little bit easier. There's a lot less going on. But let's just say parry and I punch over. Right? I can do that as sort of an umbrella backhand, which you'll see again later. Or I just parry and I punch over. I parry their cross and I punch over the top. So my goal is to hit with a cross after I parry their cross. Parry and punch over the top. If they're good, they'll slip that shot when they see that cross coming in. Well, that's fine because the idea might have been to hit them, or it might be to connect here, and now you've got the side of their head, and this hand's already on the inside for the egg cutter. So I parry their cross, I punch, connect, and hit my egg cutter. So parry, punch, egg cutter. So again, I think there's a lot less moving parts than this whole game there, but it's a good game to play in order to teach yourself a bunch of different tools all at once. So that's one of them again off of a cross, okay? Another one you can do off of straight punches is going to be the split entry. So if I parry and I split entry, and this can be done off the jab or the cross. I'm just showing off the cross because I think it's a little easier. You can see it coming a little bit more than the jab, and sometimes it's a bit more committed than the jab. So anyhow, I split entry off of that cross. Then as I go to parry, delineate this into the eye and rake this into the bicep there, I take that shot and I swirl this down, connecting that shot, and there's my egg cutter again. So I have a split entry to a guillotine, to a white, or to a swirl, if you will, and then wipe that down. So the swirl, when I say swirl, I'm swirling their arm down. So if I just got split entry and then I just get guillotine, then my arm gets wiped down, they connect, and they have their egg cutter. So split entry, swirl that shot in, hit your egg cutter. Or split entry, guillotine, swirl that shot in, and hit your egg cutter. Next one is going to be off the hook, okay? So we've got 2 different options here, and they both involve the cover and hit. So the cover and hit, if you'll remember, is I cover my head with any of these covers that we've covered in the past, but you hit at the same time, simultaneously covering and hitting. You're occupying the center line as you defend your wide line. So the first one is you simply cover and hit with your ox hand. And again, your ox hand is a C hand, C, but it's turned upside down. It's an inverted shot, and it is targeting right in the throat. So ox hand as my cover. So I parry, I cover with an ox hand. Right away, I clinch up, just like I'm doing half clinch or single collar tie or half a plum, whatever you want to call it. But I now have the egg cutter motion, but with a forehand instead of a backhand grip. So that's fine. It's still going to accomplish the same goal, but you just have to throw them out the other side. So if I have the backhand, I throw them to my left. If I have the forehand, I throw them to my right. Either way, again, it's a head turning throw. The egg cutter or the ox hand is what we're trying to get at here. So parry, and then cover an ox hand. So as I have this shot, hopefully tapping them right underneath their chin, then this one locks in. I might hit that again and then scoop it out this way. So that's that motion there off of the cover and hit with the ox hand. Now, if we cover and hit, but we happen to use this motion here, and we use the elbow as the hit, and this as the cover, or the punch as the hit, and this as the cover, then once we have this motion here, or this motion here, then the hitting hand, the center line hand, wraps, then the covering hand becomes my ox hand. And then I take my head turning throw. So again, I parry, parry, cover, either here or here. Wrap it, hit it, and then throw. Okay? So it's pretty straightforward. We have the same sort of formula. So I parry the jab, parry the cross, and I cover the hit, and I cover and I hit. This now becomes my connecting hand, and this has become my egg cutter hand or my ox hand. Then I wipe that through and go into my follow-ups. Now, the last one I'm going to show you here today is going to be, I think, one of the most difficult ones. It's something that I have had hit me, and it is surprising. Have I been able to pull it off? Not yet. But I can attest for the fact that Scott, my instructor, was pretty comfortable with this one. I was left sucking wind a few times. So anyhow, the uppercut, the rear uppercut coming in, right? So this motion here, I'm throwing this rear uppercut at you. A counter to that is to use your forearm and ride on the outside, or follow the force. So I'm following the force of that uppercut, but as I do, I hit an ox hand, okay? So my ox hand comes in, but it's not gonna be good enough just to hit the ox hand, right? What's unique about this one, as opposed to some of the other sort of parry and ox hands and then try and grab, is the fact that if you know how to cover or counter an uppercut with this sort of follow the force motion, you're already torquing your body enough to get this thing. So if I cover and I connect at the same time, this hand has now slid up and tapped as this hand has now wrapped around. So again, this rear uppercut is coming in. As this is getting deflected, this hand is hitting, and then this hand that just deflected slides right up and connects. So we're in here, we slide up, connect, take that other shot, wrap that through. So that is another one. Again, it's difficult. I'm not trying to lie to you and say that it's one of those that you'll learn right off the bat. But it's an uppercut. As your uppercut is being, or as their uppercut is being countered, you ride it, forcing your body to turn this way, sliding in an ox hand, connecting over the top, hitting another egg cutter, rotating it through, and you follow up. So hopefully those are options for you to play with. Again, I want to encourage you, try and find your own ways into this, especially if you have a partner. It's so much easier because the routes just show themselves to you. It's really cool when you're really looking for this, especially if you've got some reps in on it already. As you're starting to move around the body, you'll start to notice, oh, all I have to do is turn my body this way, or I just need to turn my body this way, and you'll be able to find that quick backhand shot. So anyway, have fun playing with this one.